And another agreement. This one's shorter, let me get to it. We also engaged a couple weeks ago. We've talked with this gentleman twice before, back in December and at another point. Frank Walsh is the township manager in Meridian Township, outside Lansing. He also, with their full knowledge, runs a search firm, and it's a unique search firm in that he only does one search at a time. It's he individually, so it's not a company that's juggling a lot of clients. So we engaged Frank through Walsh Municipal Services to conduct a search to replace our manager. I do want to point out, for those that may not know this, Natalie Dean, who we hired back in February, it was suggested by a member of the board that's no longer with us that it might make sense to combine the zoning administrator with the manager. Sounded like something worth pursuing. It allowed us to pay this person more money and consolidate. You may have read that having this job combined was cited as one of the reasons Natalie Dean did not stay with us for more than 3 months. So we kind of re-looked at that and thought, well, you know, maybe that was not the way to go. Especially the zoning activity here is so intense, especially in the summer. We're a big town. I mean, we have a lot of square miles. I mean, when you compare us to the cities, we're much, much bigger. There's a lot going on here, and the zoning administrator has a really full slate, and we did decide to separate those again. So Frank is working on a search strictly for a manager. We're experimenting with lowering the salary considerably from what we were paying her, and that's kind of where we're at. Brenda and I had a good talk with Frank. I've been as an agent, also like with Lene, we had negotiated an agreement with him back in December that we didn't sign because we ran an ad and some candidates came forward. But this time around, we feel we need him with the recruitment, the background checks, the interviewing, and I think this is good. He has an agreement to work for the city of Alpena that starts, I think, July 15th. So we only have a narrow window to work with Frank, which is fine with me because I'm hoping he delivers in that time frame. So again, this agreement, and it kind of changed a little bit today. At the most, we would pay him $7,800 to do the search. Oh, and he recently, if you didn't know, concluded successfully the search for the manager in the city of Douglas. But initially, we owe him half of that, and there were some discussions today relative to the process where he may actually not even charge us that whole. So, as you said, he's very amiable, and if you want to add anything to that, Brenda.
No, that's important to mention, that it will not exceed this amount. It could very well be less.
Correct. So again, I would like to entertain a motion that we approve this agreement, the managerial search contract with Walsh Municipal Services. Second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? The motion passes. Thank you. All right. What's next? I think it is
Performing outside.
Right. So, this is a resolution that I think we need to have on board, and I kind of drafted this. This is relative. We feel there should be language, official language in our policies and procedures on if, during the course of time, a member of the board is asked and accepts working in the office for whatever reason, but to perform office duties outside of the statutory board duties. Obviously, this became more of an issue since May 3rd because we've been dealing with coverage and serving the public and keeping the door open. So my proposal here is to suggest that we agree that a board member, if asked and agrees to working in the office outside of their elected duties, we would pay them $18 per hour. That rate was established back in December when we asked people like our planning commission chair to come in when we needed help. So it seems like it should be a flat rate. We also paid this to Trustee Bigford before she was clerk, was working in the office too and doing things like social media and all sorts of things, nothing to do with being a trustee. So that's the precedent. I just want to introduce this resolution that it can apply to everyone. It's not a call to say we need them to do this. Hopefully that need will lessen in time. And I don't see, if you follow what I wrote, I don't see a financial or budget impact because right now we're not paying some of those staff people. So having said that, and I did put in language from the Michigan Townships Association, quote, there are authorities and responsibilities of Michigan Township officials, boards, and commissions where it does state that boards can vote to pay for non-statutory or performing tasks, jobs, whatever, outside of their elected or defined position.
I would just like to add, I did talk to MTA today. This would also apply, and we just need to add a little verbiage. Generally, deputies are, she called them Clark Kent employees. So they just come in when there's a disaster and the trustee is incapacitated. However, they can also work under this compensation rate, and what we would say is that I know it's going to sound funny, but they can work side by side with the trustees. So deputies can be in the office at the same time and work with, for example, training. I will eventually need to be trained, or sooner rather than later. But they did advise us to add that language, that a deputy can do the non-statutory duties and be with the trustee at the same time. So you can, whatever language, whether it's side by side or work together, maybe it might be better language. She just used the expression side by side.
But you have their suggested language that we can...
I don't have it, no. So just that we add something that they can work together, the deputy and the trustee.
And again, with our clerk not here, so the motion I would suggest is that we approve this notion and then supply Clerk Bigford with both this language and the additional language suggested by the MTA relative to deputies.
Okay.
A question I have is, who determines who will work, and, I mean, should there be the board involved before we approve? I don't know, you know what I mean, or would that be under a manager, or would that be under the supervisor?
I think right now we have to recognize that it's a case-by-case, day-by-day.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
It doesn't require a vote.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, as I said.
I mean, I did it a couple weeks ago, but I've already quit.
Yes.
I worked 3 days.
When we know, like for today, because things come up. I mean, there were, Monday was the recall vote. Both of our clerks were at the recount vote on the school. They were in Allegan all day. And then we have our office administrator who works 3 days a week normally, now works 2 days a week till the summer, and we need help. So.
Okay, and I'm willing to help too if you need.
Well, that's why we do these through emails.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I can't.
All right.
This is quote. Someone can't be here Thursday. Well,
right.
We need more than one person in the office. So.
And some people have put in a lot of volunteer hours, which is okay, but there's a point.
But I wanted to address that.
You did,
I think it's gone too far.
Yeah.
And again, this is not a long term, but it's just the policy is there, and I think you have to trust the people in the office. We need help tomorrow. Can you come in for 2 hours? Great.
Okay.
So I did make a motion.
Yes,
We don't have the final resolution.
Yes.
But I think we should vote on the concept.
I will second the motion.
All those.
As stated.
Any more Discussion?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. So next on the agenda, and this will be short, but I did want to let you know that the two agreements the township has with the cities of Saugatuck and Douglas. Oh, I jumped ahead.
Yeah,
I
we
did
got
that again,
fireworks.
sorry.
Yeah.
We'll come back to cemetery. Fireworks ordinance. I believe you're going to introduce this, correct?
No.
No.
Oh, I wasn't. I didn't know anything about it. I don't like fireworks.
Oh.
You can,
Yeah, I'm a
Cindy would be
Microsoft
happy to
dog that
introduce
doesn't
it. Go ahead, Cindy.
Okay.
Our attorney offered to come today, but I didn't think we needed him here for one item, but
Yeah.
thank you, Cindy.
I worked with this ordinance in Saugatuck as well, and what happened is, a couple years ago, the state of Michigan said you can have fireworks, and there's 30 days in a year where you can do fireworks. There were so many complaints that they now provide the opportunity to cities and municipalities to reduce that to 12 days. And that's what your ordinance does. It comes though with a fine of a fine of $1,000. That's part of the statute, the state statute, but you can't change that, but you can reduce your number of days. And it's really, I think, important for dogs
Yes.
Yes.
and people with PSTD.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
Thank you.
All right.
Do we know, have the two cities adopted this ordinance? Like I said,
I know for sure Saugatuck did, and I think Douglas did.
and again, this was suggested by one of our attorneys who was looking out for us, and it certainly makes sense that
Yeah.
we accept his advisement and
Happily.
vote on this fireworks ordinance amendment.
Okay. I'll move to amend section 16-91 of the Code of the Ordinances for the Township of Saugatuck to regulate consumer fireworks in accordance with state law and to provide penalties for violations.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? None. Motion carried. All right, so this next item, yes, it's June 5th, I know, but this is when our board meeting is, and I believe, I forgot that way, you were having taking the lead on this.
That was me.
That was you, that's what I
Yeah,
thought, sir.
yeah.
Let me throw it to Brenda.
Okay. We just wanted to, I really appreciated what Saugatuck did, and I don't remember the exact date at their Tuesday meeting, to declare June as Pride Month. And so what we did is we adopted a very similar proclamation. I will correct the spelling, it's my fault. Designating June as Pride Month, and from there I'm not sure what we'll do. I would think we at least want to get a flag, minimal expense, that kind of stuff. So I will read it quickly to you. Whereas Saugatuck Township supports the rights of every citizen to experience equality and freedom from discrimination, and whereas all people, regardless of age, gender, identity, race, color, religion, marital status, national origin, sexual orientation, or physical challenges have the right to be treated on the basis of their intrinsic value as human beings, and whereas in support of the Saugatuck Township's commitment to the non-discrimination ordinance, Section 2-253, and whereas Saugatuck Township accepts and welcomes people of diverse backgrounds and beliefs a diverse population leads to a more vibrant community, and whereas the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ communities contribute to the cultural, civic, and economic success of Saugatuck Township, and whereas while we as a society at large are slowly embracing new definitions of sexuality and gender, we must also acknowledge that the need for education and awareness remains vital to end discrimination and prejudice. And now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the Saugatuck Township Board of Trustees, hereby proclaim June 2019 as Pride Month in Saugatuck Township and encourage our residents to reflect on the ongoing struggle for equality members of the LGBTQ community face and celebrate the contributions that enhance our township. So So I guess what I would do at this point is make a motion to approve our proclamation designating June as Pride Month.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? I just want to point out, because I forget, I should have looked this up. It was 6 or maybe 8 years ago, but I was involved with the effort here in the township when the Saugatuck Township Board passed a non-discrimination policy, and we actually passed it before the city of Saugatuck. Douglas had done one years ago. There was a movement to get the city and township, and our board adopted that again before the city of Saugatuck did. They get all the attention. Everyone went to their little to their council room, but I'm proud to see us join the two cities in adopting Pride Month.
And then we have to get a copy of this too.
And this
Sure,
is the
because
resolution, so we need a roll call.
Oh, we need a roll call, okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Marcy?
Yes.
Helmrich? Yes. Aldrich?
Yep.
Motion passes.
Right.
Now the cemetery contracts. Well, the good news is this will be short, but just to remind you, Riverside Cemetery and Douglas Cemetery are owned and managed by Saugatuck Township. We have contracts with both cities to support our maintenance efforts, and we discovered that the contract with Saugatuck expired in March, because we billed them, and they wouldn't pay. What are you going to do? So, they ably helped me. It's like, oh my God, now I kind of work to revise these two contracts. I killed her. So, but I don't care how long it took you. It was great. We were able to update and revise both contracts. The contract with Douglas is good until the end of June, but it will be up soon. So, anyway, last Friday, both revised contracts for the next 3 years went out to both city managers. One responded today with some questions and numbers that I shared. Our deputy clerk, Lori Bavinsky, is our cemetery sexton, and she got all his answers back to him in half an hour. So I don't have those here to agree today. I just wanted to bring that up. We're going to wait for the formal response from the two cities in case we need to do any editing or amending to the contract. So that will probably be a July issue, but I wanted to let you know that.
I'll come in and help you with that if you need.
You better, or you'll be in the cemetery.
You know, that's videotape.
Hey, come on, now that
No, we'll edit that.
we have to have a little
Yes, I
levity.
know. Yeah, I agree.
All right, we're getting there, sort of. All right, office closure Wednesdays.
I think it's working. I'm not sure what we were going to discuss.
Well, I talked to Lori and asked her how she felt it was working being closed, and she absolutely loves it because she's getting so much more done without interruption, and I feel that we should keep doing it for a while. I don't know, what do you think, Jen?
Well, as someone who was here today on Wednesday when the office was technically closed, and I was alone most of the day, yes, it's a good reprieve. And we let the phones go to voicemail, we check in several times a day, call people back. The agreement initially was for 8 weeks, which I believe would take us through the last Wednesday of June. So, Abby wanted to talk about this, so I don't think we need to take any action tonight, unless there's a proposal, if we might expand it, we may not need to if we hire more people,
do we
but.
want to, I mean, it'll be expired before our next meeting though, right? Do we want to extend it a week or whatever that would be, just till we can put it on the next agenda? Or?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that need a motion and a vote?
One extra week would be the next,
Yeah,
the next board meeting is
Okay.
Wednesday, July 3rd.
Right.
We're going to have fireworks. Sure there'll be no one in the audience. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we just wanted to share that. I also wanted to share, as far as I know, we've had no complaints. Some people pull up and say, oh, they're closed. All right, not every township office is open 5 days a week. And it's not like we're closed. The work is being done. It's just been, it can be disruptive certain days when there's a lot of foot traffic. So.
Well, why don't I go ahead and move that we extend the 8 weeks by 2 weeks to 10 weeks then talk about it again at the next board meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carried. We'll extend it 2 more weeks. All right, now we've got committee reports. And I'm sorry to say the first one is me, so you're going to have to listen to me a little bit more. But as has been said, I'm the board representative on the Planning Commission. We had a very full meeting this Monday. I won't go through all the details, but sort of the highlights, because, let's see, I think 3 of the 5 main items on the agenda were actually public hearings. So, number 1, there was a rezoning application relative to allowing a medical marijuana provisioning center, but it would require rezoning. This is the property right across from Burger King on the corner there, and this application, special use application, that one was denied. A second one was tabled, and that was on the, it's a request for special use or medical marijuana facility on the site where the Amble Inn is, just south of the highway. And again, that was tabled for more information till the July meeting. And let's see, we did approve a special approval. This is the space on Blue Star Highway where it's a spirit space. That is being reverted back to residential from commercial. It was residential for years. It's gone back and forth. The owner wants to live there, but we did make it conditional that they have to take that sign down. You can't live there and keep a sign up like that. It looked like it might not be just residential anymore. And let's see, the other main issue was we did give final approval. This one has been in the works for a while, but this is our first fully licensed and approved medical marijuana growing facility. This is property near the South Freeway entrance on the east side of Blue Star. This is the one, you may know, that's owned by John Zaris and Skip Skipper. So that one is full speed ahead, although we did put 8 conditions on it. So they do have to adhere to several things relative to odor control and lighting. And that's, those are the highlights of the June Planning Commission meeting.
Road Commission will be quick. The only new thing that we've done is we had a meeting. We're having further discussions about the washout and what we can do and what we can afford and that kind of stuff. So we'll get back to you on that one. Stay tuned.
Lori is our rep on interurban. She just reported that they renewed their health care for the staff, and they're redoing the parking lot coating and striping at headquarters. And that was it for interurban. Fire board.
May was above average month in calls, 79 calls for service. May didn't have any fire calls. EMS had 50.6% of the calls. 2 motor vehicle incidents, which was a steep drop compared to last year. And the township is the most busy area with 127 calls so far this year, and Douglas had 110 calls due to the sharp increase in calls to Grace of Douglas. Friday and Sunday are the busiest days of the week since the beginning of the year. The board approved painting the exterior of the building, and the fire department tested the dry hydrant system out at North Shore last month, and it cost the department $3,000 to do the test, and it's not done yet. Lake Vista Super Value should have a shout out because they donated a large amount of bottled water for the firefighters, and they've done it before, and they really step up and help us out.
Cool. Lori, do you have anything to add for Parks Commission report?
No, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Kalamazoo Lake Water and Sewer Authority.
Well,
You've been attending.
yeah, there was, I'll just go over the discussion about the Wellhead Protection 2020 grant. The grant activities will include searching for potential of a municipal well in the geographical peninsula area. further wellhead protection ordinance execution along with public outreach. This is a 50-50 grant for matching funds with a grant qualified activity total cost of $10,000 with a reimbursement of $5,000. There needs to be a local team to meet quarterly, and I'd like to volunteer for that, and we need someone in place by June 15th, and I think you've given me permission for that. And the master meter project continues to progress. Saugatuck Township plumbing arrangement is significantly complete along the Lake Township and the revised location of Saugatuck City's lift station number 1 located Collins Street in Milcon. The annual hydrant flushing was completed during the week of May 13th, and there were 9 hydrants needing repairs, and that work has begun.
Thank you. So, open board report. Is there anything you'd like to address or mention?
No, just thank you all for hanging in here with us. I'm sorry this meeting's been so long, but very long agenda. The good news is we didn't go all the way to Z. We only went to O. So that's all I have to say at the moment.
And it's moving quicker than I thought, so that's good. Stacy?
No, I just would like to welcome Cindy and thank you and Andy and everybody that applied, and looking forward to working with you.
And I just want to add, this is interesting. MLive published these are sort of calculated estimates on where things are going to turn out in the 2020 census, population growth. And this is kind of cool because we made the story statewide. They're predicting that the population of the township has passed 3,000. It's up to about 3,300 right now, and that's a 13% growth since 2010, which bodes well for things like property tax revenue. And so, yes, we are a growing, bustling community. So looks like we've gone past 3,000. So congratulations to us. This was not an item today, but I want to give a really quick update because you know we have been moving forward at the board to re-entering the it's called the Emergency Services Committee. It's the AMR ambulance outpost in Fenville that we had paid into. We've had a millage on the board for about 30 years that people south of the Kalamazoo River have paid, and it's like 50 cents a year. It's tiny, but it stopped a few years back because the board, for some reason at that point, pulled out of the arrangement. So we have taken it under advisement from the ESC itself. Abby and I attended one of their meetings to discuss this with them. We've got facts and figures. Chief Janik has been helpful on this. So we had agreed we want back in. We're willing to reinstitute that millage for people south of the river. And what's happening now is their board doesn't meet till mid-June. So the timing's a little off here. We have asked them to let us back. They have to formally say, yes, you can come back. We've agreed that we would not pay any more. It's like $7,000 a year, but it's covered, completely covered by this special assessment. So there'll be more on that in July. They have to first vote to renew the agreement with AMR to continue to serve all the communities in the ESC. And again, we'll report to you, but we're the township board. We want back in, and I won't go into the details on response times, but it seems like something was lost when we pulled out, particularly at the level of intergovernmental relations with your neighbors. So more on that in July. And that's it. I just want to close again by thanking everyone for your patience, your understanding, your support, and stay engaged. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
And you know what? No time limit. You guys can walk this way.
Do you want to
All right.
tell you?
Oddly enough, I do.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Second row.
I think I'm excited. I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen some of your
I'm a little
Facebook
scared.
posts.
I know I love them.
Yeah, I'm worried.
It really felt
Just
good.
speak into it. It works.
I'm Elliot Sturm, resident of Saugatuck Township, 2579 62nd Street. Just briefly, I'd like to thank you all personally for passing the millage. It will go a long way in helping us all move forward for the fire department. It's an expensive business. when you see the costs of some of the, even the smallest items that we wear, it's astonishing, it really is. And I don't think the general public has an idea of how expensive these things are, from the smallest to the largest. So even, this small increase, I think, will go a long way in helping us be better. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for the good of the order? Greg?
Chief Janik?
Chief Janik,
These first
excuse
name
me.
business.
It's late.
I know.
I'm Greg. It's a pleasure to be here.
What's your address?
Yes, 320 Silver Acres Drive. I live in Saugatuck Township. 24 years. It's a pleasure to be here, a pleasure to listen. Just a pleasure. Thank you for what you've done for the firefighters. They'll get about $4.17 an hour for being on call, using their own cars. You did the right thing here, so it doubles in Saugatuck. We got to retain people. You did the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership.
Just want to make a real quick comment. Lori Gascoigne, 3512 64th Street. I went to the Blue Star Trail meeting last night. They did a fabulous job. The new plan addresses a lot of the concerns. They're looking for people to speak up, to encourage them to accept the plan. I asked them if there was any way we could continue building the northern portions of the township area to at least connect to Holland, and they said they can't do anything until they get this approved. So go to meetings at public comment time and let them know how you feel. Encourage Saugatuck citizens to speak up, write letters to the editor. Please, we all need to get engaged in this. We are so far behind other communities, other cities, other states, and it's time. And this is our opportunity.
Thank you, Lori.
Good job.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor of adjourning say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. We are adjourned at 8:32.
Yes.
Oh, we have it now.
I know, I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I do too.
I do too. It's a great idea.
Oh, thank you, sir, already. Oh.
Yes, I saw you were trying to.
I mean, no, I knew language.
What's the deal with,
Oh, nothing, they just always have emergencies, that was all.
I thought something like.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Because of small phone. Yeah, so they go there all the time. Yeah.
Just for now, they work.
I know, now we're not awake. I know, well, there's
Let it be on
we don't
that
have
screen with the fireworks?
Yeah, she might be on that.
It's on the planning commission. I think we should open it up to the other.
But from here, Chicago. Maybe it's like getting like t-shirts. If we're gonna go, I think we need to plan it. Thank you.
Not that my opinion is down.
Yes,
I
we
have
go
to
on.
live.
You cracked out? I used to somebody to say. Trying not to.
Yeah.
I did.
I saw that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take the, and,